Hi, this is Jeff Heaton. I am going to do a quick video just to talk about some of the highlights from the Strata conference. You'll notice a different background from what I usually record. I'm in a hotel in San Francisco and attending the Strata conference. Now, Strata is a conference that's held at a couple of different locations over the years, put on by O'Reilly Media and other major sponsors. This year in particular it was Cloudera and Dataku and some of the others. This is a conference that originally started out primarily to talk about big data. However, big data and data science and data engineering, AI, ML, all these different terms that are used to describe various different things that overlap greatly. You'll see as when I give a overview of the different sessions, they've really come together, and this is a conference that's very much about AI, ML, and big data technologies as well. And of course, if you find this kind of thing interesting, please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell so that you're notified of any additional videos that I create. So let's look at Strata at a very high level. Now, I'm sure some of you will disagree with me perhaps on terminology. I'm largely grouping machine learning and data science and AI into all the same category, at least for this conference. I know there's many technical differences between those, especially depending on if you're talking to a technical person or a marketing person. However, I wanted to separate these really just, are we talking about data technologies, data that you would use to potentially pre-prep stuff or just perform graphing and analytics? ML and DS and AI, I'm talking about predictive analytics, or using models, gradient boosting, deep learning, all these fun kind of things. For technical and overview, I was dealing with, are they actually showing you code on the slides? Now, I didn't go to every one of these. I formed these counts just by reading through the descriptions of the ones that I did not attend. They were all in parallel, so I can't necessarily go to everything. Now, the ML and technical, I found 31% was technical and 17 were more just high-level business kind of overview. Similar ratio in the more data-oriented ones, so that was 26 and 13. And then there were just some pure management ones that talked about companies at a high level. One that I really enjoyed was by Tim O'Reilly of O'Reilly Media. It's the first time I got a chance to see him speak, and he was with two other panelists who all three of them gave an overview of just company ethics and what happens when technology workers decide to leave companies just to protest what that company is engaging in, like if they're working with military or other things such as that. Very interesting presentation. I do tend to gravitate more to the technical ones as well, but it's good to get a complete overview. I went to probably a couple in all of these various categories. And again, these are my categories, nothing really from the conference, just my own mental neural network classification algorithm. So some overall takeaways of new technology. Again, this is the main reason that I go to these things, is to get new technologies put onto my radar. There was a couple of discussions just about data scientists are now liking to be called machine learning engineers. Now, these are all different sorts of labels that people give to themselves. I really probably identify myself as a computer scientist, but I work currently as a data scientist and work with AI and ML and a variety of different things. There was also a lot of presentations about deep learning and neural networks. This is an area that I'm particularly interested in. I work mostly with what you'd call tabular data and time series data, so I don't do a lot of images and speech recognition and this kind of thing, but I do time series. So it was very interesting to see some of the newer technologies that they're using for time series and talking about. Some of these that I had been hearing about for really up in the last year to 6 months, but it's just interesting to see it confirmed too at the conference. For example, LSTMs are frequently thought of as for time series. Convolution neural networks are frequently thought of as being for computer vision. That line is very much blurring and tipping probably towards more convolution neural networks for everything. And in particular, there are temporal convolution neural networks, which is arranging them for time series prediction. There's also dilating convolution neural networks. I had just heard about that, but saw some great presentations on that one. And then there are one that was new to me, and they had some great Keras code on this. So these are things that I will probably be incorporating into my course for the following semester. Is sort of hybrid LSTM and convolution neural network all together. So these are just some of the new technologies to be aware of. If you're looking at time series, I highly suggest you look at some of the temporal CNNs and later things. I'll be doing more videos on those as I work on evaluating some of the time series stuff that I had traditionally used LSTMs with for some of these newer technologies. Another very interesting thing that I learned about was basically doing machine learning on encrypted data. So I work in the life insurance industry where we will access data that's very sensitive to individuals, financial, medical records, this kind of thing. So there is some appeal definitely for being able to accept the data in an encrypted form so that you never have to actually see it. This is called homomorphic encryption, and it basically gives you encrypted data so that you can do mathematical operations on it. So if you think of A plus B equals Y, you could encrypt A, you could encrypt B, add those together, and the Y that you get is an encrypted, almost junk number, but you could decrypt the Y and not know what A and B were coming into that. So the limitation of this is the set of algebraic operations that it can do is somewhat limited, and even more limited in transcendental functions and other things like that. So there's definitely they will likely have to implement, and already have, specific libraries and machine learning models that can operate on this, but it's an interesting area that I had not previously heard about. Also, lots of sessions on federated machine learning and processing at the edge. So basically looking at how can we have some of the machine learning done by cell phones and other devices that are at the edge, actually in consumers' hands. This way, sensitive data doesn't necessarily have to be transferred up to corporate entities, and response times can be greater because some of the processing is actually done by the actual phone or whatever is being used with this. I would have to say overall my favorite presentation was one by Kelly Reverie of Stripe. She showed how they had basically built their own platform for performing a lot of their data science operations and sending those up to the cloud to be processed through Kubernetes and EC2. I thought it was a pretty clever and custom implementation that company is using to handle their data science processing needs. Well, that concludes my presentation for Strata 2019 in California. This is a great conference on data and machine learning and other topics like that. If you find this kind of thing interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel, and you'll stay up to date on all my latest videos for my deep learning class and data science in general. Thank you for watching.